YouTube. I had a part 4 video to The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 4, titled Service. But for some oddball reason, hang on for a sec. Sorry about that, guys. It's, currently 5:12 p.m. And, in just a few hours for me, because it's 5:12, like, a little less than 4 hours for me on West Coast, we'll have, The Walking Dead Episode 5 of Season 7, titled Go-Getters, premiering. And I wanted to get this out, but my Part 4 video that I recorded, because I recorded 4 videos for Episode 4, the 4th one disappeared. So, I'm gonna try to redo this and try to upload it ASAP. But anyway, if I remember continuing where I left off, Rick pleaded to keep Daryl at Alexandria after, doing everything that Negan wanted them to do, right? And he pleaded to have Daryl stay, but Negan told Daryl, hey, Daryl, if you want to stay, go say the word, right? And I have said before that I think that was mainly a test. I'm betting Negan was testing Daryl to see if he'd actually say anything, and if he did, that'd probably have consequences. Because, every time Daryl did something, especially with Negan, it had a consequence, like, Daryl punching Negan costed Glenn's life, and so Negan's probably testing Daryl again by literally asking Daryl, hey, if you want to stay in Alexandria, just, say the word. Just tell me right now. Tell me so I could do it. Oh my god, I'm missing a tooth. Anyway, he's like, tell me so I could do something else bad, right? But, Daryl, he pretty much stays silent because I think he learned the lesson with Glenn. But anyway, Dwight ends up taking the motorcycle that Spencer and, Rosita found, Daryl's motorcycle, and he rides up to Daryl saying, you can have all this back, including your bike. Just say the word. And remember, the word he's talking about is the only thing Daryl had to say to Negan to be part of Negan's crew and get all his stuff back was pretty much say that he was Negan, right? But of course, in the previous episode, all he said was, I am Daryl, and he refused to back down from Negan. So, Daryl still remains silent, and Dwight pretty much drives off on Daryl's motorcycle. Negan, he refuses to leave Alexandria, mainly because he's not gonna leave until Rick thanks him. And so, Rick has no choice but to concede and says thank you, right? And of course, another walker, just like in the beginning of the episode, approaches and Negan kills it, but this time he doesn't kill it with Lucille, he kills it with a candlestick thing that they stole from Alexandria. But anyway, Rick, you could see again that his grip on Lucille, because he's still holding Lucille, it tightens up again, and he's contemplating on killing Negan. But again, just as that contemplation happens, it disappears immediately. And it's like, Rick, I know you're going through some things, but kill the sucker. He killed Abraham, he killed Glenn, pretty much broke poor Daryl, took a good chunk of everything you guys have at Alexandria. I mean, come on! And he even said those horrible things about Maggie, like, basically calling her a piece of meat, and like, oh, I was gonna take that girl, since I killed her husband, take her to be my wife. Should have killed him. Should have just whacked that sucker in the face. But anyway, and as Negan was about to leave, he almost forgot Lucille and pretty much takes it from Rick, and then, the Saviors end up leaving with, I want to say, it looks like more than half of Alexandria's belongings, I'm not gonna lie to you. But basically, they take Alexandria's belongings and Daryl in tow, and as Rick closes the gate, he privately chews out Spencer, because remember, he found the 2 missing guns inside Spencer's house, along with other stuff like food and alcohol, right? And he basically calls Spencer small and weak, and that he got lucky, right? And as he's walking away, Spencer, being stupid, says, should have made a deal with Negan when we had a chance. And he did the dumbest thing in the world. Spencer said the dumbest thing he could ever say. He literally told Rick that Glenn and Abraham's deaths were his fault. And I was like, dude, already? I mean, Rick didn't seem to twitch when Spencer said we should have made a deal with Negan when we had the chance. But you should know better than anyone, especially if you weren't even there, never to blame Glenn and Abraham's death on Rick, especially if you weren't even there to experience the horror that they witnessed. Because remember, Spencer wasn't there. The only pure-blooded Alexandrian that was actually there that witnessed Abraham and Glenn's death was Aaron. He was literally the only pure-blooded Alexandrian. The only reason why I'm saying pure-blooded is because Aaron's the only one from Alexandria that was not originally from Rick's group. Remember? Aaron was already part of Alexandria when Rick's group came over to Alexandria. So he was the only pure-blooded Alexandrian that actually witnessed the deaths. He saw the horror that happened with Abraham and Glenn's death. He witnessed Negan take Rick and then bring him back all 10 times broken than before. He witnessed Negan almost forcefully making Rick cut off his own son's arm. He witnessed it all, and he helped carry back the bodies with them, right? So Spencer had no right at all to really question anyone's thinking, especially the people that were there that witnessed Glenn and Abraham's death. But he definitely had no right to blame Rick for Glenn and Abraham's death. That was not on him at all. It was just Negan being psycho. And I don't want to post blame on Daryl, but Glenn's death, technicality-wise, was in fact Daryl's fault. Abraham, that's just because Negan's bat shiatsu crazy. I was about this close to cursing. But anyway, because he did that, which I thought was the world's dumbest move anyone could do, Rick, who's usually like broken because of Negan, right? The moment he heard that, we saw like semi-feral Rick, because he just turned around right away and went up to Spencer's, like, threatening to break his jaw and knock his teeth out if he ever said that again. And I was like, if that's what it took to get feral Rick back, Spencer, by all means, keep posting blame on him. We need feral Rick to, like, fight Negan, because this broken Rick right now is not good for any of us. I'm just saying. But anyway, Rosita ends up confronting Spencer because she overheard Rick, saying, we were missing 2 guns and you had them this whole time. And so basically she confronted Spencer about the hidden guns, because she's like, why didn't you mention you had 2 guns stashed away? You saw what it took for me to get at least one of these guns, and it's empty, right? And Spencer explains that he had those guns that he stole and stashed those guns ever since Rick and his group, including Rosita, first came to Alexandria. And the reason he had those guns ever since Rick and the group came to Alexandria was because he didn't trust Rick in the beginning. And because of that, he stole those 2 guns and basically hid those just in case, because he didn't trust Rick at all in the beginning. And he also muses that to Rosita that she was correct, and they don't have to live like this, like in Negan's control. And as he's leaving, Rosita reaches inside the wheel of the car they were driving to pretty much retrieve the gun that she pretty much took from that guy Neil in the woods. And we see Rick back in the bedroom. Apparently, Michonne's in the doorway. She's watching Rick spread some blankets on the floor at the home, and he tells her, the Saviors pretty much took most, if not all, the mattresses from Alexandria. And, he asked Michonne if she had any other secret guns. She's like, no, I don't. And, but she does tell him, we survived this long because we always fought back against our enemies, right? But Rick's like, there are way too many Saviors. And Michonne's like, well, if it's about the numbers, we could just get the Hilltop people, and we have more people. But Rick says even if we had the support of the Hilltop people, it still wouldn't be enough. People will still be outnumbered and definitely outgunned. And then Rick does the craziest thing. He revealed pretty much what everyone suspected these past past 6 seasons. But, it's never been canon confirmed. A lot of people suspected this, but it hasn't really truly been confirmed. But Rick actually truly confirmed it here and now. He actually revealed his thoughts on Judith and the fact that he knew this whole time that Judith was not his daughter. I know, guys. that was the biggest bombshell I ever saw in my life. I pretty much guessed it considering, Shane and Lori. And I pretty much had a good guesstimate as to the fact that Judith there's a good chance Judith was Shane's. But now it's been officially confirmed by none other than Rick. And it was quite heartbreaking to hear from Rick to actually finally admit that Judith is not his daughter. And he pretty much tells Michonne, I knew Judith was not mine. I knew that it was my best friend's daughter with my wife, and I had to learn to accept it, because the only way to keep her alive is to accept that, she's not mine, but she may not be biologically mine, but she's still mine. She's my wife's daughter. I will keep her alive by accepting this, and just to keep her alive, right? And basically he's trying to tell Michonne, look through my eyes, I had to accept Judith is not biologically my daughter in order to keep her alive. And this is basically what he's trying to put parallels between knowing Judith's not his and keeping her alive, and the situation with Negan and keeping everyone in Alexandria alive, right? And he's trying to show those parallels to Michonne. I don't really see much of a parallel. Not much for me anyway, but he tells Michonne, you don't like this situation, but we have to learn to accept this situation with Negan if they're going to survive Negan at all, basically. And that's now I'm starting to see the parallel now I'm saying it, because he's basically telling Michonne, you don't like this situation, but we have to learn to accept it if we're going to survive Negan. And basically that's what the parallel is to Judith. He doesn't like that Judith is not his biological kid, but he had to learn to accept it and move on to keep her alive. You know what I mean? And basically he has to tell her this is how we live now. Michonne says that she'll try to accept it, which is a pretty big step for her anyway. And we see Michonne going back to that rusty truck in the grassy field, but then she sees smoke in the distance and goes to investigate. When I heard that the Saviors took Alexandra's mattresses, I thought they just took them from themselves. But they did the dickish move I've ever seen, because when Michonne goes to that smoke in the distance, she finds all Alexandra's mattresses in the middle of the road, smoldering because the Saviors set them on fire. I really want to flip them off right now on the camera, but I can't, because I can't even curse on YouTube. But anyway, oh my god, I hate I hate the Saviors. I hate Negan. But anyway, back in Alexandria, Merzita actually picks up an empty shell casing from the gun that Negan shot earlier in Alexandria, and basically goes to Eugene and pretty much tells him to make me a bullet. Because remember, Eugene showed Abraham that he has this place where he's literally actually making bullets. So it was pretty cool that they made a callback to that, because I was wondering when they're ever going to go back to that fact that Eugene actually knows how to make bullets. And now they're going back to it toward the end of the season. So Rosita, she's getting very unhinged. She really is getting unhinged to the point where she's actually involving poor Eugene into this, because I'm scared that she might make Eugene make me bullets, get him involved, and then he might get hurt. I'm kind of scared about that. But anyway, Michonne, she seemed like she was gonna go accept it like Rick, but as soon as she saw those mattresses, she went batshitake mushrooms. Right there. She went batshitake nuts, man. I was waiting for that, and I have a feeling she's also gonna get unhinged because of that too. Just because of mattresses, guys. But anyway, this is my reaction rant, my 4th video to The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 4, titled Service, which I should have had a while ago, but for some reason the video just corrupted itself. Hopefully not corrupt again. But I'll see you guys later in the premiere of Episode 5, titled Go-Getters. I know that right now it's 5:26 where I am, and East Coast is 3 hours ahead, so they got like at least half an hour till Episode 5 shows up, so I'm sorry it's late, not my fault, my video got corrupted. But I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye, BooTube. Walking Dead.